I'm Tony Sklar with bnetTV. We are here in Washington DC at the mHealth Summit for 2012. I'm speaking with Absolute Software's Mr. Michael Rice. How are you today, sir?
I'm great, Tony. Thanks for having me.
Thanks very much for coming on the show. And this is a fantastic conference because this area of the ecosystem has exploded more so over the last 12 months than previous. So I feel that this particular conference is critical to what the shape of the mHealth arena is going to look like within the next 12 months. I want you to be able to comment on that and where Absolute Software fits in within this area.
I'd be happy to, Tony. Absolute Software fits in to this marketplace very uniquely. And as you just mentioned, the explosion of the mobile devices in the healthcare industry in the last 12 months, it's gotten so large now, and they're expecting it to grow even larger. Just with the advent of all the physicians and the clinicians using iPads and smartphones, some reports indicate that there's upwards of 60% of the physicians today are using iPads and about 80% using smartphones. And Absolute Software fits into that market space by providing endpoint security. So we've been providing endpoint security since 1993 for customers and protecting that protected health information that oftentimes resides on these mobile devices.
For the average consumer out there that is torn between some media that can represent the compliance and security of medical records to be of mass concern, which clearly it has to be, and they don't feel that it should be given up to the open source system of regular software usage, because we hear about viruses that attack our computers and just the regular threat of and security holes that exist within other areas of technology. How do you bridge that gap? How do you make people feel comfortable? And what's the compliancy look like?
Well, the compliance within the healthcare community for protecting health information, or PHI, is that the organizations first and foremost need to have a security plan. So they need to develop a security plan and then implement that plan once they identify weaknesses or areas of concern within their organizations. As an example, Tony, there's about 50% of the organizations, healthcare organizations across the US today, that still don't use encryption. So encryption is not as widely used as one would think. Now, with Absolute Software solution, we're able to go in and provide compliance tools to assist these healthcare organizations to remediate a potential data breach. And you mentioned the concerns over data breaches are quite, it's in the paper all the time, right? It's in the paper every week. And there's been well over 500 very large data breaches occurred since 2009. And in 2009, they implemented the High-Tech Act. The High-Tech Act put some teeth in HIPAA. So it provides some penalties and some enforcement activities by the Department of Health and Human Services. And the compliance, we assist with the compliance because we're able to go out and take a device that might be lost and go and do a data delete and remediate that device so the protected health information is not released, so to speak.
There's a lot of companies out here on the floor that are in the exact that would be considered competitors to a certain extent. Obviously, there's a lot of overlap in a lot of these software companies. We talked about some HIPAA compliancy, which is I think one of the top things that is being discussed upstairs within the regulation summits for sure. What makes Absolute Software different than all of the other folks that are here on the floor?
Well, Absolute Software has a complete suite of applications, of software solutions. Our CompuTrace product, that's our premier product that we've had since 1993 that allows us to go out and manage those endpoint devices. So it allows the CIOs to have the confidence that they can go out and do a data delete and do a remote wipe on a device that might be compromised. Now we also have our Absolute Manage products, which also includes our mobile device management. Now, when you look around the floor, yes, there's a lot of companies that are doing mobile device management. And the reason they're doing that today is because of BYOD, the bring your own device movement. In the healthcare industry, that's a very perplexing problem to the CIO.
Oh, I could imagine it would be just horrible.
You know, we met with the CIO just last week down in Nashville, Tennessee, and they're grappling with how do they implement the BYOD within their enterprise. So, you know, they're taking it in baby steps, but they're starting to move towards BYOD very rapidly because the users are demanding it.
So I can understand the sense of BYOD for a mobile device, for a cellular phone, for argument's sake. Where I have a hard time understanding BYOD would be in a tablet, and I think that. I mean, and so here we go, and it's why one of the reasons why I mentioned it. But obviously, I have my tablet. You've got your tablet.
Right.
It's my personal property, but I clearly use it for work, and clearly, it's a BYOD system. When it comes to a physician or an attending physician within a hospital that has that, are we talking about the same thing? Are they allowed to bring that device in and out, and then how do you keep it compliant?
Most organizations. Initially, their thoughts were, no, you can't use that in my enterprise. You're dealing with highly paid, highly skilled, a cardiologist as an example, making a lot of money. And he wants to use his iPad in the course of seeing patients. Now, you can't tell him no. Well, you can tell him no.
But he's probably going to use it anyways.
But he's either going to use it anyway, or he says the hospital across town, they'll let me use it. So then you have it's like, do you let the doctor walk? Does the doctor go across town and take his patients with him? So basically the hospital and the CIOs and the CSIOs of these organizations are embracing BYOD because the users are demanding it. Now, with a tablet as an example, they're able to go and make their rounds with this device. They're able to pull up patient records on the tablet, potentially do some sort of physician order entry, do a e-prescription, something like that on a tablet. There's the potential that some patient data may reside on that tablet because you have like a camera and you have other means where the physician can actually access patient data and have that remain on there. So to protect that, they set up some BYOD policies within the organization that allow the physician to go in and utilize his own device. Number one, making them happy because that's what they want to use. Secondly, protecting the enterprise and the organization by enrolling a specific device and a specific user, which really allows the organization to go in and potentially do a data delete on a specific item or a specific device that may have been misplaced or lost. And so they could go in and containerize that enterprise data, manage the applications that physician is using on that device, and really control the device all the way from how are they using it within their enterprise to being able to go out and do a remote wipe on that device.
Okay, and my final question to you, Michael, I could continue to talk about this for hours. The mHealth portion of this ecosystem is one of my favorites. I think that it's absolutely fascinating, and I think that companies like Absolute Software are at the tipping point of an explosion, where there's not only going to be mass acceleration for company growth and revenues, which is not really where I want to go, but I want to talk about what are some of the challenges that sort of exist within the ecosystem today that sort of still need to get over, and what's Absolute Software doing to help that?
Well, we're doing a lot of education. We're educating a lot of users. We spend an awful lot of time educating our end users on the technology and how technology is changing. Technology is moving so rapidly that we have new technology coming on board every single day. A lot of vendors you see here on the show floor, many of our partners are releasing new products. Well, we have to do an awful lot of work back on the back end to make sure that those products still are persistent. And I think that's one thing I didn't mention before. Our products, you mentioned how are we really unique? We're persistent. If somebody tries to, they steal a device.
It's an important point in a corporation, by the way, persistency.
Persistence in terms of our software on these devices. So if somebody steals a device, they steal your computer, they remove that hard drive, they try to wipe that hard drive, our software will basically rebuild itself on that device. So you have a permanent tether on that device.
Nice.
So that gives the CIO peace of mind.
I like that.
Knowing that our software is persistent.
I think that on that note, we will have the chance, hopefully in the future, to speak again, and I hope it's prior to next year's mHealth Summit.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I've been speaking with Absolute Software, Mr. Michael Rice here in Washington, DC for the mHealth Summit 2012, and I am Tony Sklar with bnetTV.